Boys. Did you see this tweet? The FA finally is getting City.
No, that's not. That's not what you think it is.
Wait, the financial crimes?
It's not the financial crimes.
What? Then
This is Red Card Radio.
good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whenever you're listening from. Thanks for tuning in. Red Card Radio is a weekly look at the Premier League from three friends who support different clubs. My name is James. I support Arsenal. With me tonight, that is Brad over there. He supports Chelsea. Down below that, Sean. He supports Tottenham Hotspurs. Gentlemen, hello. Good day. How are you all?
Hello.
Fantastic.
Brad's fantastic. Sean, how are
much
you?
better this week.
I'm not. It does to allude to.
I am not.
I am not. To reference our intro, the FA is not concerned about the 19 other Premier League teams plus the relegated teams plus all of their constituents, employees, players that have been impacted by all the financial irregularities that have happened with City. No, they are concerned with one person. They were concerned with the safety of one ref.
Hey, you always gotta protect the refs from being surrounded. But to be fair, City definitely deserves this charge.
Absolutely.
We will get into that in just a moment. We've got for you guys tonight the review of match week 14 and just a slight touch of match week 15, which is ongoing right now as we speak. But before we get into this conversation tonight, if you could smash that subscribe button, ring the sub notification bell. If you're on one of the podcast sites, follow, 5-star review if your platform so allows it. Join our Discord. It's in the description of this video, and just communicate with us, contact us, hit us up. Leave a comment so that we can. So we can get into that. Speaking of comments, we did have Jimmy. Big shout out to Jimmy. This comment is about Jimmy, but big shout out to Jimmy for joining us last week. We always love having another opinion on this in this forum. And Joel hit us up in the comments. He said, "Jimmy, you are very wise, and it's wonderful to listen to your very correct opinions about Newcastle. I hope we get to discuss ball together on the pod one day."
Hey, future collab sounds. Yeah. That would be great.
Maybe in the future, if one of us is like missing for, I don't know, like a gala or something, we could have both of them on, do something crazy. Yeah, we'll have to look at our schedules, but not too far in advance. So let's get into it. As you guys can see, we've got those results scrolling along the bottom. We're just gonna kick it off with the big matchup from the weekend. This was Ange and the band going up to Manchester. I need to find something funny. They went up to Manchester to face the Citizens, Pep and the boys. This game was a barn burner from the very beginning, wasn't it, Sean?
Yes, absolutely. So Brad has been there and has experienced a Spurs game at the Lane.
Yes.
It is pretty electric. So you could probably imagine the elation to dismay when not 3 minutes later the ball goes in the back of the net the other way. We barely had stopped celebrating.
Yeah.
When the own goal went through, it looked as though Holland got a piece of it for a good number of replays till they got the back replay where you could see it go off of Son. So that was super disappointing, but it was a really back and forth game. I was actually having, when you watch the whole 90 and then you look at the stats later, I was surprised that they relatively dominated the possession, 55-45. They didn't blow it away like they normally do, but it felt like we had just as much control in the game as they did, and I guess those stats relatively reflect that, but it felt like that to me.
It was, in watching the game, I think Spurs were 100% in this match. The Spurs gave as good as they got in this match, and I don't think you don't look at this result and think, man, Spurs must have gotten lucky to get a draw at City. I think Spurs fully deserved this result because they took it to City in many situations. Now, they did have a couple bonehead situations where you can't, if you're Basuma, you can't try and dribble 3 players 25 yards from your goal. That's just that you can never do that against Manchester City. But no, Spurs absolutely gave as good as they got in this matchup.
Yeah, and the stats when you read down just the team stats, not the XG, not the analyst stats, the sports department or whatever you want to call it. Just
Brad
the
stats.
regular, Brad, not the Brad stats, just the regular stats. It seems as even as it was. They had 17 shots, most of them missed. There was 4 on target for them, 4 on target for us. We had 8 total shots, which means there wasn't a lot of saves.
1 each.
One each. Yeah, we were 2-1 down for most of the game. Lo Celso does what he does, which is only score absolute
bangers,
howlers from 25 out. That's all he does. Kulusevski with the header at the end. I mean, it was pretty electric. And I felt like it was deserved too. I don't know how. It sounds like James agrees with me that this was a pretty well-deserved draw, that both teams deserved at least a point.
Absolutely. Spurs were good. Spurs were good value through the whole match.
And if against this City team who is missing no one, this is their full starting lineup.
Kevin De Bruyne.
Oh, I'm sorry. They are missing De Bruyne. So they would out of the lineup would have been Julian Alvarez, who was absolutely incredible today or in that game. I don't know if you guys paid attention to that.
He's been.
I think it might be Bernardo Silva that's out really actually.
Good, yeah. I'm not sure. Yeah, who knows?
Watching the game, it might have been Silva that's out. But anyways, on paper, it would have been Alvarez out. But if I would have told you going against that City team that a team with Brian Gill, Brennan Johnson, Giovanni Lo Celso, Ben Davies, and Emerson Royale would have put up that type of performance against City, you probably would have told me that I'm absolutely nuts.
Well, considering 2 weeks ago you were ready to ship Brian Hill back to Spain, Brennan Johnson is a surprisingly player. Very good. I did not. He's going to have a career ahead of him. And as long as Spurs continue to trend upwards, the reason why Arsenal were able to hold on to Bukayo Saka and Martinelli is because we trended upwards. Spurs, if they continue to trend upwards, they'll be able to keep their young, talented players. If you plateau or regress in any regard, then those players will get gobbled up by the Liverpools or the Cities or Manchester. You know what I mean? Those are he looks like a player. I would be remiss. Okay, go.
I was going to give you a concession that I will say that Gil looked good this game, and I regret my wishes to ship him so quickly back to Valencia
you gave him like 90. What did I 90 minutes, and you were just like, get this guy out of here, get him back to Bilbao.
I shipped him. Bilbao is where I shipped him. No, I think. Well, I wanted him to get a run, and then he got a run. I'm like, this dude's shit. And you were like, he played 90 minutes. Calm down. And against City, he looked like he belonged, and that's the biggest compliment I can pay him against a team like City.
So I have to ask you a question about this match specifically.
Okay.
It's about everyone's good friend Simon Hooper, and he had a small situation very late in the game, this very, very minor inconvenience, where he played advantage for a foul on Erling Haaland. Erling Haaland continued to play because the whistle hadn't blown. Erling Haaland plays a peach of a pass over the top of all of the Spurs players and sends Jack Grealish through on goal. Granted, he is still 45 yards away from goal, so he still has a lot of work to do. And after Jack Grealish is obviously through on goal, then Simon Hooper calls the play back because I guess there was no advantage for Manchester City. Can someone make that make sense for me?
You know what? This is such a minor inconvenience that if you don't subscribe, like, and ring the notification bell, a similar mistake is going to happen to you at your job.
There we go, Brad. Well done. Well done.
I will say that at the moment he was clean and free
Yes.
on goal. He was heading towards the angle he was on was towards the corner-ish.
True.
I don't believe at the end of that he would have been clear and free. Is that that's the terminology they use?
I think that's the type of detergent. Free and clear is a detergent, but
okay.
That's all.
He had washed that defense.
I think we were going to cover it, but that's not Simon Hooper's adjudication to make.
Yeah,
that is my, as a fan, adjudication to make.
Sure,
that I think we're good here. Like it's going over the top, and I'm like, we could cover that. Get to him.
So no, I don't think that's a bad thing to say. Like sure, like is it possible that Jack Grealish gets caught? Absolutely. But do you know who was coming screaming down the pitch behind those defenders, ready for a cutback? A Norwegian like demigod who
robot.
Yeah, he was ready to score some autonomous goals there.
I think he turned around and ran just screamingly back.
Oh my gosh, he was the first one to the ref.
Yeah, he was heated. The fact that Erling Haaland has not been charged or that he just gets a free pass for what he said when Virgil van Dijk got a 1-game ban earlier this year for using the same colorful language towards a referee. I mean, I don't want to say it reeks of favoritism, but
this call definitely wasn't favoritism.
Certainly the call was bad.
But maybe it's to even out.
No, we're not playing the even. We're not.
It was a terrible call.
Two wrongs do not make a right. Two wrongs make two wrongs.
I do not.
I think I can arrive at a location where I can understand that Simon Hooper said, "Oh, you still have the advantage." Thought about it for a second and said, no, that was the wrong call. And he blows his whistle without realizing that Jack Grealish is streaking naked behind the defense. Like, I can arrive at a location where I could understand where Simon Hooper would make that.
But if you're going to choke your whistle, you need to choke your whistle unless a Tottenham player gets that ball.
Yeah, it's really bad.
You're not paying attention to the game.
You're right. That's the call. If you already choked the whistle, you need to let it play out.
Yeah.
And then bring it back.
Yeah.
So,
because even if he had let it go just like 2 more seconds, it would have concluded with probably Grealish scoring.
And to be fair, hold on.
Or a defender cutting him off.
Even
maybe
either one.
Yeah.
Even if Jack Grealish gets the ball and a defender comes up and takes the ball, that's the advantage is well played there.
Correct.
You don't even pull it back at that point because Erling Haaland, he still was able to continue playing. So like the advantage, you didn't lose the advantage. So yeah, I don't know. That's just. That was one of the Haaland suffered from one of the problems I had a lot with a problem and a not problem with Harry Kane, and my problem was with that everyone called him a diver all the time because Harry Kane tried to fight through aggressive challenges all the time, and it was infuriating. Like, just go down and get the call, because if you play through it and you get the pass off or the shot off, they're never bringing it back because the advantage was played. Did you see me nod my head there and almost want to divert your comment and just go in on that? It looked like
go ahead.
No, well, it looked like I was, because there were a couple occasions that Harry Kane went down softly.
There's at least 3 years of back catalog, or 2 years.
My biggest beef with Kane is just the undercutting of jumping people who jump and then he undercuts them. That's messed up.
Listen, he's a tall person, and if he chooses not to jump, that's not his fault.
No. Anyway, Brad, we didn't get your opinion. Do you think Tottenham were good value for this game, or do you?
Yeah, I thought it was a very from the parts that I saw, because I didn't get to watch it all.
Act like Tottenham
played. I know, right? Act like it's holiday season, and I have time to breathe. Spurs played well. City played. I think a draw is fair-ish.
Okay.
I think that was a really bad call at the end of the game.
Yeah. Let's turn our attention to Stamford Bridge. Chelsea.
Can I get one?
Yes,
I get one, Cherry?
Absolutely. Last word.
Last word. That Skip played really well off the bench.
Okay.
It was good to see.
Mm-hmm.
Was good to see Richarlison healthy playing. He came in off the bench. He did okay. Super kid out of the academy, Jamie Donnelly, made an appearance. That was good to see. And dipping into the academy players. So that was he came on in like the 90 plus sixth out of a 7-minute extra time. So he didn't get a chance to actually play. Let's be honest, but good to see him dipping into the academy. Hopefully we see more of that soon.
All right.
So that's it.
Yeah.
So let's turn our attention
Shall we?
To Stamford Bridge, where Chelsea hosted Brighton. This was a big,
So where all three of y'all were wrong on the predictions?
a big derby between Chelsea and Brighton. This is a heated rivalry, big feelings on both sides about each other's club. Yeah, Brad, you correctly predicted a Chelsea win in this match. Jimmy, Sean, and myself all predicted a Brighton win in this match. And Chelsea, to be fair, to give Chelsea credit, did it in somewhat spectacular fashion. They were down
for half the
to
game.
10 men and were able to win the match. So Brad,
For
Chelsea,
over an hour, we were down a man.
Chelsea win 3-2. How are you feeling about this?
Very good. Awesome. Great composure after Gallagher was stupid. I think Gallagher's second yellow was a soft yellow. I think it is a foul. I thought it was a foul, 100%. Doesn't get any of the ball, but I didn't think it was that dangerous of a tackle or stopping like a sporting foul because the team had already transitioned. So I was a little upset, a little disappointed in that. VAR came through in the clutch twice.
Okay,
VAR had two good results here. The penalty, the on the field call on Milner tackling Mudryk. Let me rephrase. Hold on. I can understand why the referee at first did not see the penalty. If he was looking from the waist up, it was clean because like it was an elbow, like it was shoulder to shoulder. Okay. Them feet said a different story though. Milner was going to ground to get to tackling Mudryk, so it was 100% a penalty. VAR came in and called that. And then into stoppage time, the ball gets blasted off of Colwell's head. But his hand was up in like this position here, like this.
Yeah.
And the ref who was behind him saw it as the ball coming off of his hand.
Well, because it's one of these motions. He went
right.
Like that. So his arm is moving head towards the ball.
Right. Yeah. I'm not up from his angle. 100. Like I understood from the camera angle. I was like, what is being called? That was a very confusing play too. So it's probably
live. I thought it was I thought it was a handball.
Oh, see, I saw the neck snap, so I didn't think it was.
I thought it was a handball. Saw the replay. Was like, oh, that's off his head. No handball.
And so, so it was quickly adjudicated. Although the ruling was weird, and I figured it out since. So because I didn't know the ref called a handball because like it wasn't clear that it was a hand like that the ref had called a handball. I didn't see him point to the spot. But so the ball hits off of Brighton player kicks the ball off of Colwell's head. It goes out. Play is stopped. Huh? Yes, it does. It launches out into a corner. Right. Okay. But the whistle was blown from when it hit Colwell because he thought it was a handball. So instead of Brighton getting a corner, which had the ref not blown the whistle, they would have gotten the corner. Chelsea got a drop ball in like the last 2 minutes of the game.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. I mean, that's correctly adjudicated.
Correct.
It's unfortunate.
And I was just confused and like, what is going on here?
But the confusion was that the ball wouldn't have gone out of bounds had the ref not blown the whistle.
Correct.
Because players stopped, the ball then rolled out of bounds, which made
the ball didn't roll out of bounds. The ball launched out of bounds, bro. That ball hit off of Cole's head hard enough for a concussion.
Yeah.
His head snapped back.
Okay, so Brad, Chelsea are silently up to 10th place.
Yes,
I believe actually that's where they started the weekend.
And have been for 4 weeks.
How are you feeling about Chelsea? They're let me give you their last five. The last 5 results for Chelsea. It is win, loss, draw, win, loss. So a bit topsy turvy. How are we feeling? Do we think that are we back? Is Chelsea back?
I've been saying that. Yes, I think so. I think we are playing much, much better. I think results are starting to come our way. That Newcastle game was shocking. But I think the response in this Brighton game was very good. Let's see if we can continue it. I don't see why not. Besides people that didn't even play the game picking up injuries, we got 2 more injuries.
So tricky fixture though, in the midweek fixtures that are going on right now. Actually, as you guys are listening to this podcast, the game is probably going on right now. It's the United Chelsea match from Old Trafford. I mean, anyone could lose at Old Trafford, right? Like,
Of course, I think we win. Dang,
unfortunate. I need to replace that tape.
Arsenal I have to get to the Arsenal game here in a second and see why that flag fell down.
Let's talk about both Arsenal wins since we last talked. Sure.
Yeah,
we haven't been talking about Arsenal because they just keep winning, so we only talk about interesting things.
We haven't won at United since Juan Mata 2013.
Oh man. Okay. So
like seriously, we have yes. Do I think we win? Yes.
Speaking of Manchester United, they had a match. This was the Newcastle Manchester United match. This was the match against which team was less tired. Both of them had heartbreaking losses, essentially, in the Champions League midweek. Newcastle, of course, had that awful draw against PSG, where PSG were gifted a penalty in the 92nd minute. And then Manchester United had an awful draw away at Galatasaray, where they were up 2-0 in the match. Then they were up 3-1 in the match and drew the match 3-3. So, this match ends 1-0 to Newcastle, but I don't know if you guys got to watch a significant portion of this match. I did.
Yep, I did. I watched it all.
Oh my goodness, Manchester United had zero interest in this football game.
Getting absolutely obliterated.
This game could have been 7-0, and I would be like, yeah, that's about right.
Marcus Rashford has almost no interest whatsoever in defending.
Yep.
And he is not productive enough on the offensive side of the ball to warrant such a blatant disregard, a flagrant disregard for defense, especially in today's modern game.
To be fair, neither does Garnacho, neither does Bruno, neither does Martial.
Oh, that's unfair too, Bruno. Bruno puts a shift in.
That's unfair to Bruno.
Bruno puts a shift in. But this is, I mean, Ronaldo got ran out of Manchester by Ten Hag for not being fully committed to his system. And we've got Marcus Rashford, who, despite what all Manchester United supporters want to say that he's a star boy and he's still like an up-and-coming guy, he's 26 years old.
Yeah.
He's 26 years old. He's not producing like a player who's on $300,000 a week should be. Like, is Marcus Rashford a problem for Manchester United?
Unless he starts playing, like, you hit the nail on the head. Tottenham have only been relevant because all 11 players play. Like, let's be honest, we don't have the talent of even Arsenal, even people on our level, or what I perceive to be our level. Like, we don't have Chelsea's payroll or talent. We don't have Liverpool, Arsenal, and Tottenham are on the same plane in my mind, because we don't go sign like United, City, and Chelsea
we don't
are just
money
over there.
Yeah, we don't print money like those
we
clubs
don't print money. So, like, out of those 3 teams that I just named, Liverpool, Arsenal, and Tottenham, I think we don't have the talent of you guys. Like, it doesn't feel like it. There may be players where I can make arguments here, and here, and we've got great young people that I could make arguments about like maybe Udogi's the best left back out of the 3. But anyways, that's beside the point. The only reason we are where we are is because all 11 worked their butt off.
Yeah. It's such a key component to modern football.
Absolutely.
Like, with the way that all of these managers want to high press and stick it in and like win the ball back as quickly as possible, if your front 3 aren't pressing, aren't trying and fighting on the defensive end, it breaks everything down. It breaks everything down. There were at least 2 or 3 opportunities that I remember early on in the first half where Newcastle just eviscerated United's left-hand side. They just like and you had Wan-Bissaka over there. Wan-Bissaka is not the best defender in the world, and so you have a defensive side, a defensive half of the pitch that has Rashford offering zero support, zero protection to Wan-Bissaka, and Wan-Bissaka is prone to get done.
Yeah, he's fast, but I mean, and he works hard. Like it's not, we're not just trashing Basaka. It's just not that great defensively. It's great going forward.
And the biggest issue, like the way that United have conceded so many of their goals this year, is that teams get on the wings, cut the ball back, and they ignore midfield runners. And midfielders come onto balls and just score from the top of their box. Like if Newcastle weren't so injury depleted and so like physically depleted from they'd played the same starting 11 in the league for like 3 straight games, and like everybody played 90 minutes or whatever it was. I think if Newcastle was just slightly fresher, they would have scored 7 or 8 goals in that game, because just like with the sheer number of opportunities that United presented to them. And so like this is a conundrum for this Manchester United team. Their squad, I think, is better than. And it's crazy because like we're doomed. I'm over here dooming Manchester United, and they're currently 7th. They're not far off of the Champions League spaces. Onana is actually very good in the league. He's just trash in Europe. And so like it's not as doomer as I'm making it sound. And I do think that this Manchester United team is good, but like they are feast or famine. Like either you get a really, really good team and it's a good game, or they're just like uninterested and unmotivated. And it's just, I don't know what it is with this United team.
I think this may sound odd, but it may just be like the authoritarian style is just moving its way out. The Mourinhos, the Contes.
Do you think Ten Hag's an authoritarian?
Yes.
Yeah, it seems like it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or
I think you're right.
let's be. I mean, yes, he has his vision. He wants his vision.
The Fergie, like that style, I think is just phasing itself out of the game.
But like
players don't want to be treated like that.
I think player power has increased and manager power has decreased.
But I think this is a huge issue for Manchester United though, because they've run through managers that players haven't liked, and they got rid of their last player friendly manager in Ole Gunnar Solskjaer
because he was too soft.
That's true. That's true.
And so like they need to have like a legitimate like, you know, like when companies like have to define what their culture is and like really hunker down and like be like, this is our culture, we're sticking to it even if we're not profitable for 6 months. We know that it's gonna serve us in the long run. Like Manchester United, like if they sack Ten Hag, which would be wild to me, I think that they are going to lose any credibility with any players that like the player. It just proves that the players have more control at that club. It just reinforces it.
I agree with you, but they might be getting rid of Ten Hag with Homie coming in, Radcliffe coming in and running the sporting side. He may have a different view than Ten Hag does. I'm not saying it's correct. I think you need to stick with Ten Hag just to reset the culture.
But to James's point, I think to reset the culture, clearly at this point you need to sell Rashford for whatever that is. 70, 80 mil. You get 70, 80 mil off of Rashford. Martial out. Like all the little
how long has he been
bad
there?
apples. Like you keep Bruno, you keep Garnacho works his butt off. Like he's not he puts in a shift and he's really good.
He's in look, here's the thing with Rashford and the same thing with Garnacho. They're both academy kids.
Yeah.
That's why they don't want to let go of Rashford. I think that's the biggest issue.
But
if you want to reset the culture, then clearly
I agree.
Is Rashford playing for any of the other traditional Big Six sides?
Probably not.
If we had Rashford, he would see the field.
I think if Arsenal had Rashford, he'd play.
Yeah, like I'm not saying he would be one of our front three. Like
are we saying
in a rotation?
So wait, are we saying on who he is, on who he can be, or who he has been? Because who he can be, sure, he plays on all of ours.
Do you think he's washed?
Who he has been, no.
Do you think he's just washed, Brad?
Who he is right now, I do not.
Do you think he's redeemable at any level? Like,
No,
obviously, you don't.
I think
he
it gets
is.
into. I think it gets into Tottenham's culture,
Look,
and I'm sure James
he's
probably feels
missed.
the same way. He gets into
I got
Tottenham
enough.
culture, his attitude's going to change, and I think he's going to be. I think it would be fine for us.
I
got
think
enough of a roller coaster. I don't need a player that does like.
I don't think Chelsea's a good. I don't think Chelsea's a good fit.
Yeah, you guys
I don't-
You guys
He-
have too many things going on.
Yes.
he gets in a locker room with Arteta or Big Ainge. I think he's fine.
Or Pep, like
Or Pep,
Klopp.
or
I
Pep.
think Klopp
Yeah.
knocks
I
some
think
sense in him.
I think he's in Klopp's cellar for like
Yeah,
3
right.
months, and then
Yes.
comes out as a different player.
Yeah, he's cooking. So I think this is an interesting situation.
Sure.
I'm not personally prepared to write Rashford off. Because I think that
You also
they're
can't call him a
glimpses,
wonder
man.
kid at 26.
No, of course that stuff needs to stop. Calling him a
That's-
star boy
that's-
is
I think he
absurd.
just needs an ego check. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, they 100% got outplayed
Yeah.
in this game. Like
So
they are lucky it's 1-0, and that and Livermento is a baller.
do you
That
say?
kid can play.
Didn't he come through the Chelsea system at some level?
Either way, he's still a baller. Yes, he did. He did, but he is still. Be honest with me.
Put another tick on that Cobham
He
box,
was-
Sean.
He was a beast in that game.
The kid's got potential. The kid's got potential. And he's at a good club to harness that potential.
So
Joel said himself, Dan Burns not getting his spot back. Livermento's got it.
Brad, tell me this.
So that's not just me. That wasn't just me saying that Livermento was popping off for Chelsea. Joel's words exactly.
Tell me this.
Yeah.
Brad. If you have such a good academy and such a well-run scouting department,
Yeah.
why did you let Livermento go to Southampton?
It wasn't necessarily that we let him, it's that he saw no path to first team football.
And
Because I don't know if you know this,
why
but
did you leave him?
we had Azpilicueta and Reece James. Like they
Plays-
kept as
but he
they
plays
re-signed
left back.
Aspie for a year. No, he plays right. He's a right back by nature.
And Burns
was
plays
playing
left
left
back.
He's playing left back for Newcastle due to their injuries, but he
So
is a right back.
your great Cobham Academy and scouting department
Yes.
couldn't understand that maybe the right back that's so great couldn't play left back.
Or we didn't want to try that because Tuchel didn't play any of the academy that wasn't already in the first team. You forget we've had like 20,000 managers.
It is what it is.
Like I don't know. I don't know why you get so salty that Cobham is an awesome academy. Like I think that's a proven fact by now.
I think you just sign a bajillion players and then claim all of them. Like you can't like
No, homie actually came up through the academy. This isn't like Omari Hutchinson.
Yo,
From
if
what?
you ever
Right. I wouldn't
ever try and claim Omari Hutchinson.
We bought him at 17, 18, 19. That doesn't matter.
How is he doing on his loan, by the way? Do you know?
Ipswich, he's I don't know.
Ipswich are balling.
We'll have to find out soon enough.
Tune in the next few weeks. I'm going to have a championship League 1, League 2 update coming up.
Sean's been harping on this every day in the group. But we're going to get there.
Wild in the leagues.
If we were at
we don't have
33,
that time.
if we were at 33 minutes into this podcast, we'd be getting into it right now. Just a quick anecdote about this weekend. There were 38 goals in the Premier League this weekend.
One per team.
I typed
most.
them all.
Yeah, not the most ever in a Premier League weekend. But yes, Brad.
When you're done, I have one more last statement to make to end us out before you.
So I think that the Premier League has decided that defense is not a thing anymore. And that continued on into the midweek games because there was a 7-goal thriller between Luton and Arsenal as well. So, yeah. But Brad, what's your last comment and take us out?
Burnley's 5-0 defeat of Sheffield United has our first manager sacking of the season.
Oh, true. Yeah.
With Mr. Wilder coming back to the team from when they were last in the Premier League. Like what is going on?
Chris Wilder did a record relegation for Sheffield, and he is back for some reason.
I think he's like their temp manager.
That's gonna be permanent.
Probably. But stay tuned later on in this week when we do the preview for match week 16, because 15 is happening now.
You want to tell them where to find us?
Oh yeah, you can find us I'm at KS Brad G. James is at James Tiffany, and Sean is at whiteheart_Sean. Collectively, we are at redcard_radio on both Twitter and Instagram. And you can find us on YouTube, Spotify,
Bro,
iTunes, wherever you get your podcasts.
yo,
you
if
can hear us.
you're telling them, they're telling them where they can find us. If they've gotten to this part of the podcast, they know where to find us, at least on YouTube or
Send it to your friend then,
Yeah.
or your worst enemy. We don't really care. Just share with everybody. Share with somebody this week. That's your homework.
Hit us back. We'll be back tomorrow with a preview. We'll look a little bit at match week 50. We can't do too much because it's midweek, and when we record this, those games haven't happened. But we'll take a look at the weekend coming up. Got some good ones. You won't want to miss it. So hit that, ring that sub bell so you are notified when this episode, when the new ones come out. But we will see you all soon.